Okay, we are live, I think. Can we get a few thumbs up? Everything's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Dheeraj, go ahead.
All right. So let me start by presenting my screen.
So we have Dheeraj here on the stream today, who's who's the master of all trades. He's a very active volunteer with Sarmati, and he's been working around the clock, building out things like the central registry, and yeah, today here we're presenting FIUL to begin with. So go ahead, Dheeraj. Why don't you walk us through FIUL?
Yeah. So
And guys,
FIUL.
go ahead and full screen so you can see a better view. Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So thank you, Nikhil. So FIUL, called actual FIUL. So this is the open source the Java-based implementation for the account aggregator FIU stack that we have built, and we'll be making this public essentially. So let me just go here, change the visibility. Yeah. All right. So we have FIUL as our official FIU solution available for public. So to get started, so we have set up this repository with all the contribution guidelines and code of conduct and everything is available. Right now, you can go through the code, check out the code, set it up on your own machine, run it, test it out, and we even have made it further easy to simply just pull a Docker image, which is available here in packages, which you can pull using this command essentially. And I can probably show a quick demo of how we can run this using Docker and try pulling data from the account aggregator. So let's give it a go. I'll pull the image. Right, I already have it. Now, as per the documentation, I need to set two main things. One is the secret key set. The secret key set being the secret key pair that we have, or you as FIU would share to the central registry. The public key and the private key pair, you need to have it here, and as well as the client credentials that are shared by the Samati token service to authenticate against the AA APIs. Right. So we'll set these parameters as well. So this is my configuration for my machine. So I'll do that. I'll put the AA credentials as well, and now I'll simply just run the container and it will start. Yeah, we are good. So it's booting up, and yes, it's up now. Now we have a Postman collection to interact with this API that we have written. We will definitely be going into much details into the whole architecture of the solution that we have designed and developed. We'll be hosting a separate dev stream on our O.dev Discord server. So do join there, and we'll keep you in loop of how things are getting developed. All right. So let's start. So my server is running on 7065 port. I'll just verify that my configuration is right. Yeah, localhost 7065 basis API, and I'm trying to now hit FinView's AA server and checking for a heartbeat. And yep, our FinView friends are live and nice. All right. So next, let's try to raise a consent. So here we have mentioned that FIU at Finarkin is going to be raising the consent for this customer, and these are the further details of the consent, right? So if I click this, all right, we have the consent handle, and if I can pick the consent handle status, I'll simply do this. All right, so it says pending. So what I'll do next is go to FinView's web view, log in, and see that there's a consent request arrived here. I'll accept this, and yeah, done. So if I check my status again, it should be active and ready. Yeah. So we have the consent granted to us. Next, what we can do is raise a data request first. So while raising a data request, we need to specify the consent handle ID, the consent ID, all of that. So I'll just do that and specify the range from which date to till what date I need to fetch the data, and that will be based on the consent again. So it's running, creating a data request, and yeah, we have the session ID. So since we have the session ID, I can simply go ahead and fetch the data. So since this is all running on my local server, I will not be able to kind of receive the notifications that A sends to us in case of FI notifications or the consent notifications. So we are just kind of assuming that we have received those notifications and the data should, okay, something is wrong here. Yeah, this one. All right, yeah, so we have the data as well. So that's how easy it is to get started on account aggregator using the FIUL that we have made available for everyone to use. Do go through the library. I'll be sharing the URL in the chat as well. Yeah, that's about FIUL. If you guys have any questions, please post in chat, or Nikhil, you can maybe take it over. Yeah, you're on mute.
Yeah, sorry. So guys, if you found that useful, do remember to check out the repo, give us a star there. And yeah, it probably felt a bit vanilla because it is what's happening there is that is essentially the first step, right? Getting access to data. And we feel access to data should be freely available, which AA Fuel is using. So it's AA agnostic, Gaurav, by the way.
Yeah.
You can we'll be having a dev walkthrough. So it is completely compatible with all the account aggregators. All you have to do is add a few lines of config code, and you're good to go with any existing or upcoming account aggregators. So if that felt vanilla, it is. We have something more cooking. So that was just Fuel. Next up, let me present Flux. Okay. I'm guessing my screen's visible. So,
Yeah.
so this is Flux. Flux is our low code no code workflow orchestrator, and let me show you what I mean by that. So when you're building out your business, or you're building out your use case on top of these open data standards, getting access to data is only the first step. Once you get access to that data, what next, right? And this is where something like Flux steps in. And what we are saying is that unlike others who are providing you a packaged PFM service or a credit underwriting model, we think developers know best. We think developer really, know you guys know what you want to build, right? And here Flux is here to precisely do that, to enable you. And how we're doing that is through Flux, our low code no code editor. So any use case that you can think of, you can build it. And for instance, you can have triggers. If Nikhil's salary is credited above a certain amount, raise a new trigger, have a new dynamic workflow that's running. We can have all kinds of SQL operations. We have a first class support function for ML ops and data ops. So you can have that. We have an integration with Interpret to have an explainable AI piece there. And these are just some of the ops and transforms. Now data can come in many forms and many different sources, right? It can be from relational databases, it can be from caches, and it can also be from FIUL, for instance, right? It can be from the account aggregator, it can be from the health stack, it can be from DigiLocker, it can be from some certain streaming data sources. So that's what we are doing, where we allow you to design such workflows, bring data from various sources, including the account aggregator, the health stack, the DigiLocker, and a bunch of these open digital ecosystems that are now in the works. And once you've got your data, you've built out your business logic as a workflow, then you probably want to publish uh, that output of that workflow, right? So again, you can publish that in a format of your choice, right? And that's the idea with Flux. So let me give you guys an example so that you get a better idea. So this is the view that a developer, a data engineer, or a data scientist would typically see on Flux, where you can see the kinds of workflows that have been running. Let's look at one that we're doing for an insurance company. So insurance underwriting workflow, which in turn is dependent on a bunch of these other workflows as well. So a developer can define the README, and this is a very collaborative activity, in the sense you can have multiple developers working on the same workflow in a editor real time. You have so this is the insurance underwriting workflow, where it uses FIUL as the data source. You can define your consent template. You can add a retry or a timeout mechanism. For this particular use case, we are looking at gathering income data from deposit, CASA, and from credit cards, and we are looking only at the transactions. If you guys have gone through the format of the response that comes from the account aggregator, it typically has three sections: profile, summary, and transactions. So for this use case, we're looking only at transactions. So we are picking that up, and then there's a certain merge rule. We are cleaning the data, because sometimes there's duplication, like where I'm paying my credit card bill, and so on. And then we're using a small ML pipeline to build out a categorizer and categorize those transactions. Now, parallelly, this sort of takes care uh, of the financial underwriting side of it. And bear in mind, categorize and the underwriting model itself is another pipeline. And on each of these steps, you can see the actual code and the logic that is also written uh, to make that happen. So, for example, on the merge, we'll probably have an inner left join there. So the next data source parallelly in sync that sort of takes off is the health stack. So from the health stack, again, if we and we have a session tomorrow covering the health stack. So for folks tuning in tomorrow, we'll have Vikalp, who was the architect for the Arogya Setu app, and since runs his own startup called Eka Care in the health stack space. So we'll be covering the health stack in a little more detail. But for the sake of this conversation, now again, like we have FI types, and CASA and credit card. On the health side, you have something known as fire bundles. So today, we are looking at wellness records and diagnostic reports, the kind of lab tests that you run. So those are the FI types for the health stack, and that is, again, in turn, that data is fed into a health risk modeler, and ultimately the data is merged, and it is published as a JSON. Now you can call this entire workflow uh, as a API. So in your code base, what you're adding is a single line that will trigger this workflow that we just saw, and in turn, it is going to execute a bunch of these tasks, including fetching the fire bundles from the health stack and getting the CASA data from the account aggregator. And yeah, that's Flux. We have a bunch of more tools and products that we're working on that we cannot squeeze in into this dev stream or into this demo stream. But yeah, definitely subscribe to o.dev Discord server. We'll be releasing a lot more of things, including data XR, our data visualization for which uses Microsoft Mesh, and yeah, and a few more tools coming up. So that's Flux and FIUL, and yeah, if we have any questions, we can take those, or we can wrap up today's session.
And just to add to what you said, Nikhil, the fuel solution is itself made up of a lot of libraries that we have as a dependency right now, and we are actively working to make them public as well. So we will have a set of libraries which can help make you fuel itself.
Right. So when we say we have an armory, we mean it. We absolutely have a ton of utilities that we're going to be putting out there, so that developers, builders can hit the ground running, and just focus on building. Right. So FIUL is providing an abstraction over the account aggregate integrations, absolutely, and in turn FIUL feeds into Flux. It can be used independently. You can self-host it and deploy it yourselves, or you can use Flux to build out your logic as workflows, and build out your backend basically in a matter of hours, instead of weeks and months. So so that's Flux, that's FIUL, and we have a lot more utilities and products coming through. But if you want to get early access to those, definitely join our Discord server. It's ode.dev/join. And very quickly, I will be I'll just give you guys a quick walkthrough of that. We'll be having a new thread coming up here for you to request early
Nikhil,
access.
you need to share your screen.
Okay, right. I'm not sharing. Yeah. Right. So very quickly, a quick walkthrough on the Discord server. We'll have a bunch of FAQs captured on what is the account aggregator, how do you get registered, how does the things like how do the central registry work, uh, the questions that we've had over the years building in and around this ecosystem, that there's no such thing as stupid questions when it comes to something novel, like the account aggregator, or all of these other open digital ecosystems. We've been working in and around them for a while now, and we want to help build a community of builders and enablers. So if you're a TSP, if you're a builder, please do reach out. It's a very collaborative effort, in my opinion. And yeah, we have what we have volunteer opportunities. So if you want to volunteer with, and we'll hear more about that tomorrow, where we have Vamsi joining in from Samati. Uh, yeah, and any dev updates and product launches and the subsequent sessions, they will be hosted exclusively um, on our Discord server. You can create private streams and channels similar to the tables for networking. And yeah, I hope to see you guys here, and it's time to build.
Yes.
Awesome. So with that, let's close things for today, and we will see you guys tomorrow afternoon. Uh, if there are no questions, and yeah, feel free to reach us. Like I said, always online on the Discord server. When do we start tomorrow? You can. It starts at 2. The first session is at 3. We'll be opening the floor at 2:55 or so, and we have some great sessions tomorrow, including one on community, where we'll have Vamsi from Samati, we'll have Abhishant from FinTech Meetup, we'll have Rahul from Bima Pay, and of course we have the health stack panel that I mentioned with Vikalp, and the closing panel is going to be a pretty awesome one, where we have a bunch of investors and who also have experience as operators, who run their own fintech companies, also joining in. So providing their own perspective as to how they plan to leverage these open digital ecosystems. At the same time, what they look at while they're looking to back builders. Uh, yeah. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.